Presentation 6. This training curriculum is based on the Registered Behavior Technician task list and it is designed to meet the 40-hour training requirement for the RBT credential. This program is offered independent of the BACB. This presentation, we're going to talk about self-help skills and chaining. What is a chain? A chain consists of a string of very basic small behaviors that when added together create a complicated routine when combined. A chain is used to build a complicated routine from simple steps, to teach self-help skills, and to increase independence. Several simple tasks that link together to form a more complex task is known as a chain. Almost anything we do can be considered part of a behavior chain. Tying your shoes can be taught by a series of separate acts, beginning with holding the laces in your hand, then pulling them, crossing them, turning them, and so on. Or, like in this example, making a sandwich. Think about all the steps that go into making a sandwich, all the individual little behaviors. A vocabulary word that you should know in applied behavior analysis is task analysis. A task analysis is when we break a task down into multiple steps. Again, a task analysis is when we break down a task into multiple steps. So, if you think about something that you do every day, try to break that down into its simplest steps and number them. Basically, think about this. If you do something and you want to have someone else do that same thing that you do, and you make a list for them, and you number that list. Well, first you do this, then you do this, and then you do this. That is basically making a task analysis. It is important that we know how to make a task analysis first, before we do a chain, because we have to break it down into steps first. Now, I want to preface this by saying, as an RBT, it is not your job. It is not your job to come up with the chain or to write the task analysis, or rather to implement it. But this is just giving you some background information on how it's done. There are several programs that you will be doing that may involve chaining. Some things such as hand washing, brushing teeth, putting your socks on, putting your shirt on, pants on, shoe tying, jacket on, washing face, making bed, restroom, going to the restroom. These are all things that a person may do, or a patient may have as a program that may involve chaining. In order for chaining to work, the steps have to be practiced in the same specific order every time. Reinforcement should only be given once the entire task is complete. And steps that are mastered, so a step that's mastered is called a maintenance step. And the target step that we're currently teaching is called the acquisition step. Chains in ABC. The completion of one step serves as an SD to complete the next step. The reinforcement for each step is the completion of that step. So it looks something like this. You have the SD, the behavior, then the reinforcement. So, Basically, the step itself, the completion of it, should act as a reinforcer to go to the next step. Each task signals that the next task should start. So in this example, the wastebasket is full. It should be emptied. That's the SD, seeing the full wastebasket. Seeing the full wastebasket, seeing that it's full, is the SD for the person to pick up the wastebasket, which itself is an SD to take it to a bigger garbage can. Once you get to the bigger garbage can, that's an SD for taking the lid off, which then serves as an SD to pick up the smaller wastebasket and put it into the garbage can, which then serves as an SD to put the lid back on. Therefore, in a chain, the completion of one task is an SD for the next task to begin. This is why it is so important to wait until the end of a task when teaching this for the completion of the whole task to reinforce. You don't want to reinforce each single step. You want instead for the actual completion of it to serve as a reinforcer and the SD for the next step. So why use chaining? Chaining is used to teach a skill that requires several steps, meaning it is not just one response or behavior. For example, if I tell my son to brush his teeth, there are several steps involved. It is not just one response. The steps should have a set order, and each step can be taught individually to mastery. It allows the learner to be successful. When used correctly, chaining will allow the learner to complete the task and eventually be able to do it on their own. Remember, in chaining, we are taking each individual step and linking them together into a chain. This will allow us to teach skills that require several steps.